Most people begin their journey believing the reward waits at the finish line, picturing the car, the house, the applause, the recognition, convinced that happiness arrives only once the goal is reached. But after years of watching lives unfold, I've learned something that changes everything. It was never really about the finish line at all. It was always about who you were forced to become on the way there, which is why the obsession has to shift away from outcomes and land squarely on the work itself. Because results are only evident. They are the byproduct, while the real reward is the person forged through the process. And think of it like planting a seed you dainty, sit outside staring at the dirt demanding proof. You water it, you tend the soil, you pull the weeds, you commit to the daily work. And then one day, growth appears. Not because you obsessed over the sprout, but because you obsessed over the watering. Yet this is where most people quit, discouraged before anything breaks the surface, convinced it isn't working. Abandoning the process, even though the process was working all along. Just quietly, invisibly, waiting its turn. Which is why real discipline means falling in love with showing up day after day long before the results give you permission to feel encouraged. And I've met countless people who pour all their energy into imagining what life will look like once they succeed, standing on the mountain, enjoying the view. But they never practiced climbing, and it's not the dream that gets you to the top. It's the blisters, the sweat, the daily steps. Because you cannot skip the climb and still expect the view. And here's the key. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Because when you chase results alone, frustration becomes inevitable. But when you chase improvement, when you fall in love with the grind, the results eventually chase you. And this entire idea is about building a way of living where progress is measured not by trophies or applause, but by consistency of effort. Where discipline lasts longer than recognition. Where pressure fades and enjoyment rises, because the work itself becomes the reward. And once that shift happens, results often appear almost as a surprise, because you're too busy working to notice them arriving. Yet most people remain fixated on the outcome, wanting the paycheck, the title, the validation, believing results come first, when in reality, effort comes first, discipline comes first, and if results are your only fuel, you'll quit the moment they delay. Just like the person who quits the gym after 2 weeks because the mirror has changed, or abandons saving because freedom still feels far away. Not realizing they weren't failing, they were simply impatient. Because results are deceptive. They arrive late, and the space between effort and reward is where most dreams are buried. But those who succeed learn to love the work itself, showing up. Not because progress is visible yet, but because the process has become part of who they are. And when your focus shifts from what you get to who you're becoming, you keep going. Because the work isn't just producing something, it's shaping someone. And that someone is you, which is why chasing results becomes a trap. A mindset that says happiness will arrive later, satisfaction will come someday, when in truth the escape begins the moment you say you're here not for the trophy, but for the transformation, because the process is where identity is built. Each repetition casting a vote for your future self. Each disciplined choice shaping character. Like the man who wanted to write a book, but froze under the weight of the finished image, until he learned to obsess over 1 page a day, eventually becoming a writer long before the book existed. Because the work produces identity before it produces outcomes. Just as runners become runners in daily miles, leaders become leaders in unseen decisions. And that's the beauty of it. Results can disappear. Money can vanish. Titles can be lost. But who you become remains permanent, which is why discipline feels heavy in the moment, but regret crushes over time. Why? Skipping the process leaves you fragile, while embracing it makes you resilient. And when you fall in love with the process, results often sneak up on you after months of faithful work. Because detaching from outcomes creates steadiness, while tying emotion to results creates a roller coaster. Yet the process belongs to you. No one can take it away. And like a farmer, you plant, water, protect, and trust. Understanding harvest follows seasons, not impatience. Just as athletes focus on execution, not winning, knowing details handled daily decide outcomes later, and longevity belongs to those who find fulfillment in showing up. Because consistency builds identity. Identity builds confidence. And confidence is earned through invisible discipline practiced when no one is watching, until one day the visible results reveal what quiet effort built all along. And fulfillment finally arrives, not at the finish line, but in mastery of the work. Because success was never the trophy, it was who you became while chasing it.